Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you, another offering off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks, I'm Platter V, series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. I go over there to try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about the stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. It turns out I actually have a lot more storage space left in my SD card than I originally thought, so cool, going to do a bunch of reviews. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there, I'm going to try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my back room today, which means we get Peter Can and Thunderbolt poster behind me. Love my Peter Can Thunderbolt poster. I have 2 Peter Can Thunderbolt posters in my house, by the way. Just tossing that out there. Flexing. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, I am doing something else. What is it? Well, folks, I happen to be wearing a super cool shirt. And folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today, folks? What happens to be one of my one of my dope shirts, which I've got a few actually. If you're unfamiliar with the band Dope, they're a band that's been around since like the mid '90s. Originally started out in New York, eventually migrated to my home state of Illinois. You know, kind of made their camp there for quite a number of years. These days, I think Edsel, the lead singer, I think he's mostly out of California, I want to say. But I'm a big fan of Dope. I got into their stuff like back in my high school days. I've been really fortunate. I've seen them perform live a whole bunch of times now. I think they're a phenomenal band. I like them so much. Not only do I get their merch, I've actually got videos of some of the performances that I've attended over the years. They're on the channel as well, just in case maybe you want to check them out. If nothing else, folks, I'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction as far as their music goes, because I think they're an incredible band. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Well, like I said, I went over there. I always have like just a little behind the scenes thing. I always have a huge backlog of these videos. For basically just I always like to try to keep ahead of things, and then maybe there's reasons for one reason or another why I can't record for a while, and that's what happened for about 2 weeks. I couldn't really do any reviews because I was under the weather and I couldn't really taste anything properly. So I ended up just kind of burning through not a lot of my backlog, but maybe about half of it, just posting up stuff, older things that I had. And when I went over there and I checked today, I was like, oh, I actually have a lot more storage that I'm not used to having, because usually I'm like just barely have enough to do like 1 or 2. So I decided to dig some stuff out of my fridge, and first thing I dug out is boom! It is from HATA. This is Cola Ramune. Neat. Let's get a thing for the thing here real quick. It looks like this. Ha 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 ha. But okay, if you're unfamiliar with Ramune, Ramune is I don't know the exact details of like what qualifies it as Ramune versus another thing, but it's type of Japanese soft drink. Famously, they come in these very unique bottles where there's a little marble at the top. You push it, you pop it. I'll show you the whole process. And I've reviewed some Ramune on the channel before, at least a few different ones that I've done. I didn't realize that they did a cola, though. I mean, it makes sense. Cola is obviously very popular all around the world. I just had never seen it in Ramune format. So, let's go ahead. Let's give it a go. Plus, it's been a while since I've had some Ramune. It tends to be kind of somewhat lighter in flavor than... So here's how you do this, right? Right there you got the, not to flick you off, but that's where you got the marble, you got this little cap. And they've improved it over the years, because originally it wasn't quite as involved. You had to really kind of work with it. And basically you just take it, you press this top thing down. It does take some doing. There we go. And once you do that, best thing is to kind of hold it for a second while the fizz retreats. Take this off. Take off the little plunger. Boom! Ramune. And then, like I said, the marble is in there, and it gets stuck in between these 2 little divots when you go to drink it. But you have to drink it the right way, otherwise it pops out. Let's give it a go. Okay. Alright, not bad. Honestly, I'm really surprised at the carbonation level. Ramune, I mean, it is, it's a carbonated beverage for sure, but it tends to be kind of lighter than like the American versions. But I guess maybe because, this was, like a cola, the idea was, try to kind of emulate that experience a little bit more. That's actually not bad. I really didn't know what to expect coming into a Cola Ramune, but it's actually really nice. Like, it's refreshing. It has a good cola flavor. And again, I'm surprised by the level of carbonation. Like, I wasn't expecting to dislike this, but the thing with Ramune is it works best in my personal experience when, you had, like, they use a lot of, like, fun fruit flavors, like kiwi and pineapple. Pineapple's amazing. Um, Things like that, and it works best typically in those type of formats because it just kind of lets the nice fruitiness do most of the work. Whereas the Ramune itself tends to be a little bit lighter in both flavor and carbonation than again more like more Western style sodas. So I didn't know what to expect having a cola, which is obviously the embodiment of a Western style soda, in a Ramune format, but actually it's really nice. But the only thing I do don't ask me why these exist. By the way, I couldn't tell you. I'm sure there's a reason for it. But I used to have more fun with these when I first was introduced to them when I was much younger. It's like, oh, it's wacky and it's fun. Now that I'm older, it's like I just want to drink the damn soda. But oh, my buddy Bernard is out. He's a big old hamster. Yeah, big guy. I'd pick him up, but he's perusing around. I'll give him a treat real quick. Oh, who's my buddy Bernard? Who's my buddy Bernard? Who's my buddy? Yeah, you want a treat, pal? You want a treat? There he goes. Boop. He's a big old hamster. I love him. But anyway, yeah, going back to the actual review at hand. I don't care. I will always take extra time out for my hamsters. I love them. I also have a hedgehog and a cat, but the cat's outside and the hedgehog is never up during the daytime. But anyway, yeah, I would say in terms of like a ramune flavor, I really enjoy it actually. In terms of a cola, I wouldn't put it as like anything close to a top tier cola, but I would also say it's definitely better than like just like the shitty name brand. I'm sorry, like in-house colas, from Walmart and stuff like that. It's actually got like some nice personality to it. Um, about the only thing I would say that lets it down is kind of the finish. It doesn't finish as strong as it starts. Because I would honestly almost say that it almost feels like they're trying to emulate like a Coke or a Pepsi. And I know that sounds stupid, but like colas do taste different. I would say they're probably trying to emulate Coke to some extent, because like you do get a really nice hit of flavor right at the front, but the back end definitely weaker. It fades off, and it's kind of yeah. It starts better than it finishes for sure. But still drinks nice. Still tastes like a decent cola. Yeah. Worst part about it is the ending. Two questions have to be asked. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? Um, sure and kinda. I think for me personally, I mean, I like a good cola. I love a good cola, in fact. Is this a great cola? Absolutely not. But it is a good cola, and I would say it's nice that it's there as an option, especially if I'm going out for like a place that specializes in more like Japanese style foods and stuff. As much as I love again like classic style ramenes and the classic flavors, it's nice that this is an option, and it is something where yeah, maybe not all of the time do I want a kiwi flavor, maybe sometimes I just want a nice cola, and I think that this actually worked out way better than I thought it would. The only downsides to it, like I said, the ending on it isn't the best, and then the carbonation, again, surprisingly good carbonation level. I don't know that it works that well with the Ramune style bottle. Like it seems to kind of back things up a little bit. But I would still get it on occasion. Wouldn't be a go-to cola for me or anything, but and if I'm recommending it, kinda. For one thing, you got to be into the whole Ramune experience. It is a little bit weird, a little bit goofy. I'm not gonna lie. You do question yourselves as to why you're doing what you're doing with it, but it's part of the fun, and especially if you're kind of part of like maybe the otaku culture here in America or abroad. Like I said, it's part of the experience. The one thing I would say is if you are part of that culture, I mean, this is ultimately a cola, so if you're trying it as part of that sort of otaku type of situation, I mean, it might be disappointing to you because it tastes more like a Western style soda, whereas you might want again more the classic style Ramune stuff. Conversely, if you're just a person who's just trying it, it might be a little bit too much fuss for you versus the standard stuff. But I do think ultimately it's a nice thing for what it is, even if it's not outstanding, and it's kind of worth it for the fun. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year, folks. Go over there yourselves a truly cola-tastic rest of your life. Because cola is just good, man. It just does what it does. It's very successful. Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Folks, not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there whenever possible. Take a step back. Try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives. Hopefully, do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, what's your experience with Ramune? Have you tried it? Is it something you want to try, you haven't gotten to yet? Do you like it? Do you hate it? I'd be interested to hear, because like I said, it's at this point, I mean, you can get the stuff at Walmart, so like it's definitely integrated to some extent into American culture. And, for me personally, I think they're fun, but I could see other people not being into them. I'd like to hear your personal thoughts on it. But anyway,